We do have a new AP poll. We have a new Verballer top 12 poll as well. We will start with the Verballer top 12. Of course, it's the most accurate poll in all of college football polling. I also sent out a few guest ballots to our friends around the college football media space just to get a little bit more diversity of thought in this thing for week 5, being so it is such a huge week.
Yes.
Here's the way this shook out. Number 1, Ohio State. Number 2, Miami. That mirrors exactly what we see in the AP poll. After that, though, we start to see some disparities. In our poll, we've got Oregon 3, Georgia 4, Penn State 5, Florida State all the way up to 6, LSU at 7, Oklahoma at 8, Indiana makes a huge jump all the way up to the top 12 at number 9, Texas Tech also makes a pretty big jump up into the top 10. We've got Texas A&M at 11. We've got Georgia Tech at 12. In terms of disparities, the AP poll had LSU up at 4. Obviously, our poll was a little bit further down on them at number 7.
Yeah.
Your Oregon Ducks at 6 in the AP poll. Our Verballers were much higher on the Ducks. Texas is at number 10 in the AP poll. They're nowhere to be found in the Verballer top 12. They would have been 14th or 15th, I believe, in our poll. Indiana was not ranked as highly in the AP poll. They're at 11. We had them at 9. Texas Tech in a similar situation. They were 12 in the AP. As I said, 10 in ours. And Georgia Tech is 16 in the AP and obviously number 12 in ours. I saw that Notre Dame moved up a few spots, Dan. I'm sure you have thoughts on that. But in general, your reaction to all of the polls that we saw drop yesterday / early this morning.
Yeah, so with regard to the Verballer poll, I think Oregon's probably too high in this moment just because I like to reward teams based on who they've played, and Oregon, having played both of the OSUs on their schedule this year in Oregon State and Oklahoma State and Northwestern, they've looked terrific, but I don't know how much you can say, like, okay, this is a top 3, 4, 5 team in the country based on those performances. I would have Penn State lower just because they've looked fine, but against no teams. I don't like saying, like, oh, okay, you deserve to be in the top 5, 6 after 4 weeks when you've played nobody. They have done a very poor job of scheduling early on to entertain anybody, so I don't like to reward that. If you want to put them in a preseason poll pretty high because that's your snapshot of who you think they are, big picture, that's fine. But as soon as teams start coming through against better quality opponents, I would have them jump over the teams that don't have much on their schedule. And Penn State did not schedule a power conference team in September.
Yeah, I had Penn State at 8 in mind.
That's fine.
I had them about 8. They're a top 10 team, but I still think both the AP and the final results of the Verballer poll were a little higher on Penn State. Now, if they win against Oregon,
sure.
We have preached the virtues of having a limber poll, Dan, as you know.
That's true.
We could very easily bump Penn State all the way the hell up if we want to.
Sure.
Right? This thing can have a lot of variability from week to week. Penn State was one that jumped out to me. I would say with respect to both polls.
Yeah.
I feel like Mizzou, I feel like USC, I feel like TCU are all too low. They're all too low. Now, this is not to say that any of those should be in the top 12 at this point. But just looking through where the Verballers, where the AP would have ranked all 3 of those teams.
Right.
They are like fringe top 20 teams right now. TCU is 21 in our poll. USC is 20th in our poll. Mizzou is 18th in our poll. It's not all that different if you look over on the AP side of things as well. These are teams that I think have a lot of upward mobility. I think all are outstanding sides, and I think they have been proving it gradually over the course of the season.
Yep.
TCU has an opportunity this week, I think, to take a pretty big jump up. We will talk about their game momentarily. So clearly, this is tracking with what I think you said a week ago, which is these are teams that you should not be sleeping on. These are teams that definitely have a lot in front of them. They seemingly are getting better week to week to week. And given the schedule in front of them, there's a lot of room to grow. Do not sleep on those 3.
I agree. The thing I want to reward early on, beyond just like how you schedule in the non-conference, I just feel like we learn more about a team based on how they perform against a quality team on the road specifically. So when I look across, like what LSU did at Clemson, regardless of where Clemson is now in our hearts and minds, doing that in week one is clearly impressive. Clearly impressive. So I understand why LSU is as high as they are, even though I don't know if I believe in them full-time as a top 5 team, just because of where the offense is and needs to grow into. But I have no choice but to respect that. I have no choice but to respect what Georgia did at Tennessee. When I look at like what Texas A&M did at Notre Dame, whatever Notre Dame's defense is going to be, that is, I think that is indicative of just a steeliness in Texas A&M that if you want to have them at 7, if you want to have them at 6, I'm okay with it. Conversely, like, I think I like Ole Miss a good deal, and we're going to talk about their matchup against LSU in a little while. But, like, they didn't really separate from Kentucky in all that interesting a way. Now they're in the top 12, top 13. And also what Texas Tech did at Utah. So on one hand, you're like, well, they didn't schedule anybody, and that's kind of cowardly. And there are a lot of cowardly teams here. But going to Utah and doing what they did and finishing off the Utes in that fourth quarter, I have no choice but have immense respect for that. What Vanderbilt did, I'd have Vanderbilt a little bit higher here based on what they've done on the road. So early on, the road testiness, don't look up road testy,
Don't.
is something that I'm just going to, I'm going to vote with. So yeah, that's where I stand right now, because I do think we should be a lot more fluid with these kinds of polls.